Hello there and welcome to this brand spanking new edition of 5RoundMMA alongside me is Albertita. I'm Alex Ramirez. We're a man down this week.
Yeah.
We got a rather ominous text from Guillermo earlier in the week saying, hey guys, I might not make it, but I may be there. I don't know. And that's about it, right?
Yeah.
But later that we found out that he's in Vegas somewhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it has to do with the first Sunday of football. I think he just traded all his bets in.
Something like that. I may make it back alive. I may not. But anyway, so we'll kind of power on through him. Hopefully we hear from him later on in the show. We got UFC versus Bellator. Took place on Friday night. Also Invicta FC took place. I want to talk about the next week's fight night between Bigfoot and Pitbull. What's it go with? Aren't you still going by the Pitbull?
Yeah, that's still officially his
so Bigfoot versus for the Pitbull, and kind of like the little influx of heavyweight bouts we've been seeing lately, leading up to the Cain Velasquez, Fabricio Verdun bout. Obviously, he's not convinced by the UFC, so see kind of maybe map out the future contenders list. But as of right now, I want to talk about Friday night, UFC versus Bellator. UFC had Fight Night, Mousasi versus Jacare, and Bellator had Bellator 122 or 123, right?
It was 123.
On the card was Bobby Lashley, King Mo, main event.
Czech Congo,
main
Pat
event.
Curran,
Main event was
Pitbull.
Pat Curran versus Patricio Pitbull.
Yep.
So you saw both cards, right,
Yeah.
Albert?
It's funny because when I saw it, obviously Bellator started first, and then the last two bouts is when UFC started. The preliminaries were going at the same time, though. But I found myself watching Bellator more than I saw myself staying with UFC.
Well, you're watching the main card for Bellator as
Yeah.
opposed to the UFC prelims, right?
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's supposed to do that, right?
Even though the one that overlapped was the main event, which was Pat Curran and Patricio Pitbull. That one overlapped with the Joe Lawson fight.
Michael Chiesa.
And then they said that one was epic, but I prefer to stay. I stayed on the
Championship
Pat Curran
fight,
yeah.
and it's Pat Curran. The Joe Lozon fight was a Joe Lozon fight, kind of
Yeah.
wild, and ended in a cut. It was kind of, argumentative, I guess. But so overall, head to head, what card you like better?
I really enjoyed the Bellator card, to tell you the truth.
Really?
I mean that championship fight was. I mean that thing was like. It's amazing to me how these names, Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez, Pat Curran versus Patricio.
Yeah.
They continue like you think they have one epic fight and you're like, okay, most of the time it doesn't happen again for the second time. But every single time all these names get back in the ring, they literally steal the whole show, and they almost have the fight of the year every single time. And the last, let's take Benson Henderson for example, and Anthony Pettis. Everybody thought we were gonna see another epic tale, and
Ended rather lackluster.
Short. Yeah, but when these guys get in that cage, I mean, they just have magic happen. I mean, that's one of the most amazing fights I've seen this year. I mean, it really was that good. And then if you look at the lower card, I mean, King Mo.
Who did King Mo beat?
King Mo beat a newcomer to Bellator. He ain't a newcomer to MMA. It was Justin Jacob, but he put on the show.
King Mo did?
Yeah.
So what's it say about King Mo?
King Mo won by TKO.
But I mean, we seen King Mo handle these guys, but when the big fights, he's kind of
lackluster.
So was it King Mo just kind of keeping the course? That's about it.
Yeah, I think he moved lateral. Yeah, and that's about it.
Bobby
Lashley, TNA champion, current TNA champion, made his way to Bellator now.
I forgot. I don't know who. I think it might have been like either SB Nation. I mean, Weekly said Bobby Lashley takes care of MMA jabroni and whoever he fought. I was like, is that a compliment or is that bad, good or bad for Bobby Lashley?
Well,
who's his opponent?
His opponent was 8-7, I think. So
somebody called him a jabroni. I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess that defines him as a jabroni. Yeah. His name was Josh Burns, but he wasn't. I don't think he was a top contender for Bobby Lashley, but it's more for Bobby Lashley kind of to get back into things.
This is his first fight in a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's been taking quite a break since he started his pro wrestling career again.
TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
TNA commitments.
He looked good again. The only criticism is he's too muscular, dude. I really do think he needs to lean down a little bit more. But he had one of the most vicious rear naked chokes I've ever seen. It looked like a death choke. He's gonna kill the guy.
You mentioned Czech Congo earlier.
Czech Congo had a nice rear naked choke, opposed to the deadly one I saw from Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
But if you compare it, I mean, I did see the John Moronga fight. I was able to catch that.
John Moronga looked amazing,
and that one looked good. But all the other fights, even the Ala Quinta fight, which I saw, which when Bellator's won, I was kind of iffy. Even in the main card, it was just disappointing to see Overeem get knocked out. The Matt Mitrione fight was kind of weird that the guy gets knocked out by a bull rush, and you're kind of like, well, what just happened? And then the main event, I thought it was really good, but if you're comparing it to the Pat Curran fight, there's no comparison.
Okay, I want to stick with the Pat Curran fight. Obviously, he did lose to
in the split. It was no unanimous decision.
Yeah,
I think.
Patricio Pitbull, which is kind of like if you people watching Bellator are obviously familiar with the Pitbull brothers. Patricio's the better one of the two. I was following his journey. He made it to the semifinals once, made it to the finals one time before, but just couldn't, grasp the title. And now he did, which is almost kind of like, this is really a true and blue Bellator guy. They found him, they put him in the system right away. I mean, he's been Bellator his whole career, basically his whole career.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see maybe like another star is born in Bellator, you think?
Yeah, and I think it sets up perfectly for, the third one.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was a very close fight, regardless of the knockdowns. I mean, Pat Curran got knocked down like 3 times.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had some vicious exchanges as well. And Pitbull, obviously, he dominated his whole way to Pat Curran, and he wasn't able to show that dominance against Pat Curran. So I still think it's a good reason to do the rematch.
Yeah, Pitbull's almost like similar. You watch like in the NBA when like the Thunder make the playoffs with the first round. First round they're out, but then you see the next year they progress. Yeah,
exactly.
That's one of the cool things about this tournament guy. You see the inner tournament, they get to the second round, they get to the semifinals, finals. That's exactly what's up with Pitbull. I mean, it's semifinals, finals.
He's a perfect example how the Bellator tournament
used to
can be something good for the company if they do it the right way.
Yeah. What about Pat Curran, real quick? Still. Top fighter,
dude. He got knocked down a couple of times, but dude, the guy came to fight. I mean, he literally fought like a champion. He wasn't going to give up that championship belt easily, and that's what you appreciate. I mean,
his last loss was to Darren Strauss, but he avenged it. So maybe just give me another shot to avenge this title, it'll be all right. So let's jump to the UFC bout. Like, you highlight on Alistair Overeem. The Glass Man.
What a disappointment, though.
Demolition Man. Now is the Glass Man, right? I think it's like one touch and he's pretty much done, right?
Yeah.
He said that. I read an article saying that he said, I cracked Ben Rothwell's arm, and I wasn't expecting him to counter with that arm. I heard a crack, so I thought it was broken, but he countered with this arm that I thought he broke, and that's what the mix-up, and that's how I got caught. But it seems like he's no excuse. He's a great training camp, but back to the drawing board. But kind of seems like an excuse to me. But hefty price tag for the guy. Lackluster performance in the UFC. Is he gonna get one more? Is he gonna get one more shot? Or come Tuesday morning, Alistair Overeem's been released from the UFC.
No, if he gets one more shot, it's maybe against someone like Matt Mitrione, someone that they think needs another push.
Yeah.
And then
someone
they're
they want.
pretty much gonna wipe their hands clean with Overeem.
Is this like pretty much like the biggest free agent disappointment ever?
I can other than the whole Fedor thing going to Strikeforce.
Yeah.
That's the last time I can think of something this big a disappointment where you're like. You have this guy and you build him like he's going to conquer your division.
He said he's going to conquer the division.
But if you see all the promos, they kind of wanted it too.
Yeah.
It wasn't a one.
At least get him to a title shot, right?
So and this is a very struggling heavyweight division right now.
Yeah.
Who's losing contenders instead of gaining contenders.
Well, we'll talk about that in the next segment too. I want to harp on that, but also main event. Jacare looked
amazing,
like an alligator, a crocodile. Manhandle Mousasi. I never saw Mousasi. I only when he fought King Mo, but King Mo kind of wrestled him to the ground the whole time. But this is a completely different level, right?
Yeah, and big props to Mousasi because when the alligator gets you in the water, you should be done. And he held in there for as long as he could, and I think he gave it its all, and just the alligator. When an alligator's in water, it's just over.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do.
So he was saying afterwards he wants a title shot. So should he get the winner of
100%.
Vitor
After that performance in the last 2 fights?
Yeah.
100%.
What about Mousasi?
Mousasi, it just sucks because.
But he's just so good. They know he's so good they can put him against anybody. It's gonna be a fight. Guys get hyped up to fight Mousasi because they know it's like. Okay, I'm gonna fight Mousasi. You really want me to fight Mousasi? Am I that good? All right, I'm on that level.
Yeah, but the other thing is, I don't want Mousasi to become like a gatekeeper.
That's Machida beat him, got a title shot. Jacare beat him.
He might get a title shot.
So.
But it just sucks that he gets that role because he's better than that. I don't think. After Mousasi, you can't say this guy's a gatekeeper. But at the same time,
I mean, look at the.
That's what it seems like. That's what his role's going to play.
What about the video game analogy? Remember at Street Fighter, you had to beat Sagat before you got Bison.
Yep.
A lot of people like Sagat over Bison. So it's
people actually give Sagat more credit than they give Bison.
So it's kind of like you got to beat that guy to get the next level. So maybe it sucks for him that he might become that person, but in the long run, it might not be. He
has a better honor.
Yeah, it's like okay, it's like the samurai getting the samurai to the next level.
I don't think people are more I don't think people are they're excited to face Chris Weidman because he's the champion.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Chris Weidman, the fighter.
Yeah.
While
The opportunity, right?
Mousasi, they're excited to face someone like him because
Yeah.
it really challenges them and sees where they're at in their MMA career.
So basically, if it all lines up and Jacare is the next title contender, so that means if Chris Weidman
can get through Vitor.
Yeah, so Chris Weidman would have gotten through Anderson Silva twice, Machida, and then Belfort and Jacare. Do you think he could get through all those guys in a row?
If he does, he's about to have a better title reign than Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
These are like when Anderson Silva did his title reign, he did not fight anywhere near this caliber of talent.
It was what Patrick Cote,
then you had
Tyler Slates,
and then who's that guy?
Rich Franklin.
There's a guy that didn't even make weight.
Oh yeah, the guy who won the Ultimate Fighter. Remember?
Yeah. So
I mean, because if he gets through that lineup, that deadly four, I mean, I think he's up there with maybe John Jones' pound for pound title. I think, but So I think that's it for this first. Oh, also Invicta FC took place. The Karate Hottie dominated her win. So nice to see the Invicta on the. I think it was the first one on Fight Pass or the second one.
Yeah, I think it was actually the first one.
The first one.
Yeah. So Fight Pass is starting to lock and load their content.
Original content.
Yeah. So, also, before we leave, the Tough Enough Mexico started a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's a good season. It's all in Spanish.
No subtitles.
No, there's subtitles, but it's in Spanish. Cain Velasquez teams is winning.
Yeah.
So go Mexico.
How's Cain Velasquez Spanish? Some haters are questioning his Spanish.
You know what's the funny part?
What?
Fabricio Verdum has better Spanish than Cain Velasquez. You should hear. You'll be impressed when you hear Verdum speak Spanish. You're like, dude, I thought you were Met, and he speaks so well. It's
a good timing for the Invicta FC because obviously I think isn't this week. Tough 20 or 21 champion will be crowned for the strawweight women's division. So a lot of
all Invictas.
It's great to see the women's mixed martial arts being highlighted, especially in the UFC, more different weight classes. So it should be great. So sticking up, guys, I want to talk about the fight night coming up. What's main evented between Bigfoot and the Pitbull, and also want to talk about some kind of how the heavyweight division is kind of shaping out now. So stick around, guys.
Please visit FiveRoundMMA.com on our social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. FiveRoundMMA.com.
We are back in what I like to call a heavyweight segment. UFC Fight Night's coming up this also Saturday, so we're kind of stacking them back to back. Main event between Bigfoot Silva against Andre Arlovski. Pitbull versus the Bigfoot. I think this is his first fight back from the suspension, right?
Yeah.
Or has he got hurt? Or for Bigfoot Silva?
It's from his suspension.
So, this card's in Brazil. Not too stacked heavy. It's on Fight Pass. It's kind of like one of those come here, come there cards, right?
There's a reason why it's on the Fight Pass.
Yeah. But what got to me was the main event of that fight was a heavyweight bout. But also, the next card after that is in Japan, also on Fight Pass, main evented by Roy Nelson and Mark Hunt. And this coupled with last week when you had Matt Mitrione against Derek Lewis.
And you got Ben Rothwell.
Ben Rothwell, Alice Overeem. So, and that's kind of coming up to November, JDS versus, not JDS, Cain Velasquez versus Verdum. So they're kind of lining up the heavyweight division right now. Kind of maybe, they kind of line them up so Cain and Verdum have a opponent right away. Do you think they want to have them take a long layoff before the next title shot?
I really...
Our next title defense? Who the winner is?
That's what it feels like they're doing, just restructuring it. But I really wish they would do one more heavyweight bout right after
of the big names, right?
Yeah, and then kind of figure out there because if Cain Velasquez wins, we all know he goes through long periods of time before actually fighting.
Yeah, because injuries and stuff like that.
So I don't think it'll be really affect them if they do like a bout right after October. They'll determine the first contender. But if Verdum wins. I think that's when
it's got open field, right?
I think that the rematch will probably be depending
how it
goes. Yeah, but I do feel they are trying to structure it in some way. But I really hope that the card right after the Cain Velasquez one it's like a very clear number one contender. I mean, even if it's Ben Rothwell versus Matt Mitrione, I would like to see some kind of.
Well, I did mention now two top heavyweights because they're not active is JDS, Junior Santos,
who doesn't want to fight anybody,
and Stipe Miocic. Who was supposed to fight JDS, but had taken on Fabio Maldonado, took care of business. Now he's kind of in the works. Now you think they're keeping him out for the number one contender, or maybe he's waiting for JDS? Because I haven't heard anything about JDS at all. Have you?
No, and I haven't even heard rumors or speculations, or if they even trying to get another bout with him.
Yeah, or if he's calling out guys, nothing. So it's almost kind of like if not JDS, obviously Cain Velasquez is a champion, no JDS at all, right? Yeah. So, but maybe of all the guys I mentioned, is there anyone that sticks out who maybe win or lose
in the way I approach,
against Cain Velasquez?
The way I approach the questions with Cain Velasquez, because if he loses, I think the only thing that makes sense is the rematch. And so someone against Cain, you probably have to put like another good. Well, Ben Rothwell already lost against Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, he was saying he wants a title shot, right?
Yeah.
He knocked out Austin Overeem, and all of a sudden you're kind of calling yourself a title shot, no more contender.
Exactly.
I don't know about that.
So it's kind of hard to just,
especially when you lost the
the only one I really see is the Zorlowski fight. Depending who wins out of here, if Bigfoot wins, I don't see them giving it to Bigfoot for the third time against Cain Velasquez. That leaves the dark horse heavyweights. I mean, Mark Hunt might even get a shot, or Roy Nelson, depending how that turns out. But if Orlovsky wins, I think he's the number one contender without having another bout. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, because you did have the up and comer Travis Brown. He looked horrible against Fabricio Verdum, and supposed to sustain a lot of injuries in that fight, so he's been out for a while.
Exactly.
That was the kind of guy they're kind of pushing to next in line. Behind him was Stepan Miocic. He was supposed to fight JDS. That didn't happen now. So it's kind of like the guys that are trying to push forward. They can't crack the wall because circumstantial either they lost this fight.
He's the only one with the name.
Yeah.
And if he beats Bigfoot Silva, that's what I'm saying. I think he's the only clear guy to probably go up against Gibbons without having a number one contender match.
So basically, in a 2-month span, the entire top 10 is active, right? Cain Velasquez, Verdum, Brownie was Antonio Silva. Alistair Overeem, Mark Hunt, Roy Nelson, and Arlovsky's gonna be active as well. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's kind of like
just weird the way everything played out.
And none of these guys are really jumping out to you like, oh, this guy's next in line for sure. I mean, Josh Barnett just lost. You got number 15, Brendan Schaub, but he's been always on.
He's on or off.
He can't even crack the top 10 yet. You know what I mean? So, and then also Stefan Struve still ranked, even though I don't think he's even medically cleared to fight anymore. And they still got Big Nog ranked in the top 15 as well, and also Gabriel Gonzaga and Frank Mir too. So it's kind of like, where these riders at? I don't think they're supposed to do the heavyweight division over again.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, they're trying to structure it with these fights coming up, and like, so the only one that stands out for me is Arlovsky. But if he loses, then we're gonna get in a very interesting. A lot of the dark horses might come out and steal this number.
What's in more dire straits, the heavyweight division or the light heavyweight division?
Ooh, that's such a good. I would have to say the light heavyweight division, just because after this fight, I think this division's pretty much done for.
Everybody out basically.
There's a reason why they signed Thiago Silva after releasing him and then saying they'll never sign him over again. And then they sign him. Yeah. That's telling me they're getting pretty desperate over there, because once John Jones, if John Jones beats DC, you have the Adson Gustafsson fight waiting, but. The best thing that can happen is Anthony Rumble Johnson beating Alexander Gustafsson. Yeah, kind of keeps it going a little bit more
fresh
because
blood, right?
Because you still have Alexander Gustafsson there, even though if he were to lose to Anthony Rumble Johnson, but that's the only way. But
you think maybe
the only way they could save the light heavyweights if DC wins.
You think the UFC's kind of secretly hoping that John Jones clears out DC and beats Gustafsson the second time and moves up to heavyweight? Would that be a fresh shot?
That would be his only option, because
he's already cleaned everybody out, right?
Yeah, there'll be nobody left in division, because if Gustafsson beats Anthony Rumble Johnson, there's no real way you can say Rumble Johnson deserves.
I mean, out of the young guys too, maybe Phil Davis, but he's been.
Phil Davis is on or off.
Yeah, Rafael Cavalcante, the newcomer, and us, your boy Avin St. Pierre.
So all these guys can't handle him.
So it's kind of like I think the fate of both divisions are gonna be in limbo by the end of this year, right? I mean, you'll see exactly how it's pan out. Cain Velasquez and John Jones are still dominant. Do you think there's no other way but headline head to hard?
Each other,
I mean, you think that'd be like kind of would that be like a dream matchup for the UFC, or kind of because one of the top guys is gonna go down and look pretty bad? Yeah. So this is an all-out drag-out war like Gustafsson and Jones.
Unless they can drag this out to UFC 200, this is other than that, I don't think they would love it. Because imagine UFC 200, John Jones versus Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, since it's both champions.
Winner take all.
That'd be kind of cool. But so the heavyweight division, which not that long ago, didn't seem promising. I mean, Overeem, all the guys from Strikeforce are coming in, and then now it's kind of like Brock Lesnar. I mean, like all these new blood, DC, you know. Yeah. And now it's just kind of like now they're re-signing Andre Arlovsky, you know. And it's kind of
now we're hoping that Arlovsky beats Bigfoot.
Yeah, I know. Where's Czech Congo we need him at? But anyways, I mean, end of the day, we'll see what happens. Usually these things kind of pan themselves out, right? But I think that's it for today. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about?
Other than my disappointment with RG3.
Oh yeah, first week of fantasy football. Huh?
I started him. I should have known better. But other than that's all I gotta say.
You got any guys going on Monday night?
Who's playing Monday?
I don't know.
Jackson. Your official.
Like San Diego, I think Detroit, the Giants. It's like 2 games, right? I know San Diego's playing. I know Detroit's playing, and the Giants. I don't know who's playing who though, but.
As you can see, this is why we don't do football. We don't do NFL podcasts.
Which is why a lot of us come in last place in our fantasy football leagues.
I've been in my 2-2 bowl 3 years running.
So until then, make sure to follow us on Twitter at FiveRoundMMA. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to us on iTunes, YouTube, and Podomac. And always check out FiveRoundMMA.com. Big Game is still looking up the Monday night games for Monday. Visit OvertimeNation.com because I'm pretty sure they'll have reviews of all the Sunday night football, of all Sunday, the first week of football.
I think we need to go check out Overtime.
See who's playing where. So OvertimeNation.com to read our articles, commentaries, editorials. Also follow them on Twitter at @overtime_nation. And also looking for writers out there. So if you're an aspiring sports writer, got something you want to say in the sports world, hit them up on Twitter at @overtime_nation. And big game. There's only look at 2 men.
I have a 50% chance.
Look at 2 men to choose from. Who is today's Rockin' Green super clean star of the show?
Albert Cita.
Albert Cita.
I thought so.
Well, Guillermo's here. The odds are go pirate for you. The star of the show is brought to you by Rockin' Green Soap. Please visit rockandgreensoap.com for the full line of eco-friendly soaps and detergents, and follow them on Twitter at rockandgreensoap.com. Please follow them on Twitter and Instagram because they also do awesome giveaways.
Yep.
So just follow them so you get some free detergent. And also big thank you to Redemption Martial Arts. The RMA Foundation is a non-profit organization committed to anti-bullying awareness. Please visit redemptionmartialarts.com to see how you can join the movement to stop bullying, and follow them on Twitter at redemption_MA. Everyone, please rise up against bullying. Albert.
I'd like to thank our executive producer Guillermo Cita. And real
just
quick,
this in breaking news on the wire.
Monday night game is the Giants and the Lions. I'm gonna go with the Giants.
Okay.
And Chargers Cardinals, and I'm gonna go for the Cardinals.
Got nobody on your
because
plane?
even though I'm from SoCal, I'm still going against it. I'd like to thank our engineer over there, Big Game. And thanks everybody for listening.
Somebody just say cream the crop, so I'll just say cream the crop after this. Thank you, everyone.